Yeah? You're gonna help me? This is how you're gonna help me, is by sitting in the middle of... No, you can't eat the wreath, ma'am. It's Alirien, and today we are building our 8th and final Sabbat wreath for the season of Imbolc. As with all of the Sabbats, I will go ahead and list the correspondences for Imbolc during the footage of me actually building this. But to give you a basic sense, Imbolc is a season all about celebrating that winter is halfway over and the spring will be returning soon in about 6 weeks. We get our concepts. Ma'am. We get our concept of Groundhog Day from a lot of the sentiment that goes into Imbolc. She's nesting in the ivy now, that's right off screen here. The whole concept of the groundhog coming out, and if he sees his shadow, he retreats back into his hole, and that means 6 more weeks of winter. Or if he doesn't see his shadow, that means spring is on its way soon. Both answers tell you the same thing. Spring is coming soon in about 6 weeks, because the spring equinox is 6 weeks from Imbolc, usually right about the 20th of March. Spring is on its way, it's always on its way, but we are halfway through winter, and that is the important thing. So now we just need to start preparing for all of the work that will need to be done as spring warms and awakens the earth again, and continue to live off of what we have left in our stores from the harvest season of Lunasa and Mabon and Samhain, making all of our stores and supplies stretch as much as we can. So obviously the idea of buying new things to make an Imbolc wreath goes a little bit against that, but I was able to find a lot of really good materials this time, and I'm very pleased with what I found. And once this wreath is made, all 8 of the wreaths that I have made for the Sabbats will continue to be what I use to decorate for the Sabbats, and I will add more decorations in future. After this wreath, I'm going to take a break from decorating DIYs to focus on costume building and some other things this year. If you've seen my 2023 plans video, you will already know kind of the basics of what I hope to do. But let me go ahead and show you the materials that I am working with this time. So this is the frame, which I thought was a very interesting one and would make this a bit more unique. I have a lot more room to work with in the middle, and it will be easier to fix my centerpiece into this wreath, and I'll show you that in a little bit. I was hell-bent on either phoenix imagery or blackberries for this wreath, because Imbolc is also referred to as Brigid's Day, Brigid being the Celtic goddess of hearth and home and druid craft, fire, and so many other aspects of life. And blackberries are associated very closely with Brigid. Thus, I wanted to have blackberries because this is the time for celebrating Brigid. And I found some. Michael's had a lot of their early spring decor already available. They had actually started putting out Easter stuff, and they had blackberry sprigs. So I have 5 lovely little blackberry sprigs that I am going to work into this wreath and make sure that they are front, forward, as visible as possible. I could not find a phoenix per se, but Hobby Lobby had these feather picks. So I got some red and I got some yellow, and I am going to make a nice little spray of these to emulate a phoenix's feathers and still bring out that idea. As far as my flora goes, I have this pale green, sort of early spring looking ivy that I'm going to work in. I might cut it in half and use half of the spread and use the other half on something else, because it is kind of a lot. It'll fill out a lot of space and I don't want it to hide too much. I have these yellow flowers. I got 2 sprays of these white flowers here and 1 spray of some pink, because the colors for Imbolc very much capture the idea that we are in the latter half of winter and spring is coming very, very soon. So the earliest flora to reawaken and start growing and thriving again in the latter half of winter and early half of spring is really really what you want to focus on. So colors of pale pink, pale green, white, and yellow are all associated with this time. I also have, to add a bit more color and liven it up, I found this bundle of pink trim that I'm going to use in lieu of ribbon. I will take some of the longer pieces and either work a pentacle or a rune of protection or some other image in here. I might see if there's a symbol that is particularly associated with Brigid and work that in, because I do very much like Brigid. I've heavily associated my apothecary character for the Renfest with Brigid, but that is what we are working with. Oh, I do also have, I almost forgot, I do have some sweet little birds that look kind of like robins with their reddish brown bellies. I have 3 of those, and my centerpiece, since I could not find a phoenix to fix into the wreath, Imbolc is also associated with dragons. So I have this lovely black and red dragon that I am going to try to fix into the center as best I can. I think his wings will give me a bit of a challenge, and we will do the best we can. I got a fresh pack of floral wire, so I'm all stocked on that. And I also got somewhere amongst, here it is, everything. I got some fresh floral cutters to help cut all of the flowers off of their stems and prep everything. So I'm going to set some music to help me work and dive right into this while you guys get the list of where you can start in order to decide how you are going to decorate or celebrate Imbolc this year or next year. Let's make a wreath!
When the dark days of winter seem to have gone on forever, the first sign of spring refreshes our souls. Known by several names, Imbolc is the Sabbath celebrated halfway between the winter solstice and the vernal equinox on the 1st of February. Its themes and observances tend to revolve around the ideas of preparation, patience, and renewal. All deities and correspondences tie into these ideas. Obviously, known as Brigid's Day, the Celtic goddess Brigid is associated with this time, as well as Aphrodite or Venus, Diana, Athena, Gaia, Juno, Selene, and Vesta. Their male counterparts include Februus, Bragi, Cupid, or Eros. Colors for this time of the wheel are light green, pink, white, and yellow. Herbs such as angelica, basil, blackberry, cinnamon, grain, reed, wormwood, and trees of blackthorn, cedar, rowan, or sycamore. Flowers of crocus and daffodil, and stones such as amethyst and turquoise. Brass and gold tend to accompany these as well. Animals include cows, dragons, groundhogs, larks, robins, sheep, snakes, and swans. And scents of the aforementioned herbs and trees, as well as peppermint, may be used. Symbols include the Brigid's cross. I've worked into the center of the wreath with the pink ribbon here. Candles, corn dolls, images of Saint Brigid or Saint Mary, cauldrons, brooms, and whistles. Food and drink, often prepared and consumed at this time, include dried fruit, grain, potatoes, cornmeal, dried or salted meat, cheeses, pickled or canned foods, nuts, eggs, any dairy products, ale, mead, and cider.
crazy, but I'm okay with that. This frame was difficult to find really secure spots built in for the stems to sit. I had to do a lot more wire wrapping, and I'm not as certain of the security of everything, but if things fall off and fall apart, oh well. They can be fixed and replaced. It's not that big of a deal, but as you can probably tell, it's dark out now. So I will set up to hang this in the morning. Imbolc wreath up on the door. It looks fantastic. My mom especially said that she really liked it. She likes that it's kind of wild and unkempt a little bit, and it very much evokes the thought and the visual of yards and fields when the first growth of spring finally takes, and it's kind of unruly and kind of crazy and kind of everywhere because all of the plants are just so happy to finally have warmth and be awake and alive again. I'm really happy with it. I think this is gonna look fantastic until I switch it back to my Ostara wreath, which if you have not seen, I did already make a wreath for Ostara last year. You can find that one and all the other wreaths linked in the cards and below. Let me know what you think in the comments, as well as whatever you are doing to celebrate Imbolc and any of the other Sabbats moving forward this year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know where all the buttons and links are to show me your love. Huge thanks and shout out to my amazing coven of patrons. You keep all of these projects happening, and if you would like to join their coven, the link to do so is down below in the Linktree portal. Pledges for Patreon start at $1 a month, and you get special perks depending on which tier level. I have 2 right now, but I'm planning on adding a few more later this year, so check that out. Stay tuned for finally the premiere of my Walt Disney World 2021 vacation videos. Those will be coming very, very soon, and keep aiming, my loves. Don't try to fix. We get our concepts for Groundhog Day. Can you get out of the shot? You look very pretty in the sunlight. Yeah. I'm gonna have to move you at some point though. Sorry. I had milk this morning, so my throat is kind of clunky. Bear with me.